Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. We are here with another Am I the A-hole Reddit thread, wedding photographer edition, or wedding photography edition. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Katie. I'm a wedding photographer, and I just think it's kind of a fun little series on my channel where I go through Am I the A-hole wedding threads about the wedding industry. And since I am a photographer and in the wedding industry for a few years, I like to react and give my opinion on things. So we're gonna get into it. This one is about wedding photography in specific, and I want to throw out, if you have any stories like photographer horror stories or Am I the A-hole stories, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to feature more of my subscribers and viewers in these kinds of videos, so definitely let me know if you have a very interesting story. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. The first story is titled, Am I the A-hole for not giving my sister a discount on wedding photography? And the consensus is that yes, you are. So let's get into it. I'm a full-time wedding photographer who mostly shoots weddings, but I also do some freelance work for newspapers and magazines on the side. I usually charge about $3,000 for a standard wedding package, which includes 8 hours of photography, a CD with edited images, and an optional engagement shoot. In past years, I've given friends and family members pretty generous discounts for shooting their wedding. 50% off for immediate family, 25% off for friends and other family members. Wow, that is a huge discount, okay? I've only done this 4 times for my older brother, one cousin I basically think of as a sister, and 2 close friends. And it's worked out because I had plenty of bookings outside of the events to make up the lost income. My sister and her fiance are having a small wedding this November, and they asked if I would be their wedding photographer. I told them I'd be happy to, but unfortunately I won't be able to give them the family discount for financial reasons. A lot of my clients have canceled this year because of the ongoing pandemic, which is completely understandable, but I've lost a significant amount of money because of it. My sister is really upset about this and says it's crappy because I'm charging her $1,500 more than I charged our brother or our cousin. She's taking it extremely personally. I feel bad about it, but I'm not doing this to be a jerk. If she had got married last year, I would have gladly given her the discount. Am I the a-hole? So this was, I think, in the midst of like the pandemic and stuff. During that time it was really scary, especially in the wedding industry, because a lot of people could not have their wedding. So a lot of wedding vendors were then let go, a lot of venues were canceled, photographers were canceled, and so there was a lot of lost income in the cancellation. But I do think personally, if you had kind of a rule of giving a discount to family members, you should still honor that. A 50% discount is pretty hefty in my opinion, but if you didn't want to do that, you shouldn't have started. You know what I mean? So now I understand your sister being pretty upset about this. You didn't charge their brother this much. You gave 50% off for him, like why not for me? So I think you already kind of set the precedent for this. You kind of set up the situation where, yeah, they assumed that they would be getting the discount as well. It is scary to not have that income, but I would still honor that family discount because it is your sister. It's your sister. It's not like some random family member you're not close to. It's your sister. And I assume that you two are pretty close if she is asking for, you know, this discount. I mean, it is your sister. So let's read some of the comments. It says, you're the a-hole. You would be at the wedding and not taking another booking that day anyway, so there's no lost opportunity cost here. Making $1,500 is better than making nothing, plus you could save a couple hundred in a present. Plus, it just doesn't sit right to charge your sister full price for photography when everyone else gets a discount. That is true. You'll probably be at the wedding. Honestly, if you're worried about money, I would say making $1,500 is better than zero, and photograph their wedding as their wedding present. And I think that's a great way to go about it, only because you already gave the discount to other people. Now, if you did not give any discount to any family member and that was your rule and they were mad at you, but it was a consistent rule, then yeah, I would say maybe you're not because you want to establish that boundary. But because you've already done this before, I would say go ahead and honor it. Okay, here's another comment. I get it, it's your business and you can charge what you want for your services, but to have already discounted 4 times for family and friends, yet your sister is getting the full price bill, is really crappy. If you've never given discounts before and your sister wanted one during the pandemic, then sure, don't give it, but the cat is already out of the bag for who you charge what to. I think that kind of sums up my feelings. Like, if you didn't do this before, you didn't give any discounts before, and somebody's just assuming or wanting a discount and you say no, that's one thing, but because you've already done it, I agree with the consensus that you should have given your sister a discount and not charged full price. The next story is titled, Am I the A-hole for not photographing a wedding I didn't know about? And the consensus is no, you are not. Okay, this is gonna be kind of interesting. My sister announced she was throwing herself a surprise birthday party and she talked about it for months. You're throwing yourself a surprise birthday party? Then you're just throwing yourself a birthday party. The surprise is the part where you don't know about it. She's throwing herself a surprise birthday party and she talked about it for months. I had never been invited to her house before, and honestly, I was a little sour about it given how close we've always been. My mom asked if I'd take some pictures since I'm a photographer. My mom nagged me for a couple of months because everyone was going to be there. I won't go into details, but the day before, I wound up in the emergency room. Oh my gosh, okay. The ER doctor ran a bunch of tests and an MRI and ended up admitting me and called a neurosurgeon and booked an operating room for emergency surgery. Wow, that is so scary. It was now the morning of my sister's birthday and I texted my mom to tell her I couldn't be there and explained why, and she was mad. Later that evening, she texted me a picture of my sister in a wedding dress getting married to her boyfriend. I asked who all knew and she said everyone except you. We wanted it to be a surprise. Why? Am I the a-hole for getting upset that I was basically being tricked into a full-on wedding photography without knowing I was supposed to do it, and everyone else knowing it was a wedding and not her surprise birthday party? Yeah, no, you are not the a-hole. Oh my, like, what the heck? Why was it a surprise for you? Is it so they could trick you into photographing it? Like, that's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like it was a surprise for anybody else. The following reasons why they think they might be is I was upset and scolded my mom and sister for getting upset with me for not showing up and basically tricking me into lots of unknowing work, because it's not just a full day and night of taking pictures. It's editing, arranging, printing, making DVDs, etc. I referred to my sister as the chosen one, which really upset her and hurt her feelings, and I shrugged them both off. You were upset. Maybe your reaction wasn't necessarily the best. When we respond out of anger, I don't think we respond the best, even if our feelings are justified, which I believe your feelings are very justified. So I understand like regretting how you respond to a situation, but I would be so upset, especially since, number one, you're being tricked into photographing a wedding. It's not a birthday party where, oh, everyone's gonna be here, so you're just gonna snap a couple family pictures for a family album and blah blah blah. It's not that. It's a full-on wedding, and it sounds like they just wanted you to bring your camera and trick you into photographing it. That's number one. And number two, you didn't come because you had emergency surgery and like you were in the emergency room the night before. So yeah, the morning of, even if you had an actual paid gig, you probably wouldn't go. You know, you would have figured something else out for a paid gig. Yeah, you wouldn't still go. And so the fact that they're mad at you for not showing up, you didn't know it was a wedding, you didn't know that it was, you know, a pretty significant event. You thought it was just a birthday party, right? And that you were just bringing your camera along to snap a couple photos. Like, that's very casual encounter, okay? I mean, I've done this with family. Like, sure, I'll bring my camera, take a couple pictures while everyone's at Thanksgiving, but like, it's not this official thing. But a wedding is very official. And yeah, it's a lot more work than just showing up and taking pictures, right? I do not think you are at all. I think that your family like tried to trick you into photographing a wedding for free, and they were not understanding when you had an emergency surgery. You are not in the wrong. Okay, let's read some comments. What did I just read? Where is the concern for your health and rushing to your bedside? Your mom sucks. I wish you a quick and full recovery. Why would the wedding be a surprise for you and just you? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one's concerned for your health, and like, why are they surprising you? It's probably because they wanted free photos. This person, this comment said, my parents had a surprise wedding. People thought it was just gonna be my father's 50th birthday. Instead, they got married. They had been together for about 25 years at that point, and the party was very low-key, very relaxed wedding. However, that was a surprise for everyone except the closest family, me, my brother, grandparents, mom's brother. When it's just a surprise for one person, there has to be a reason. Here the reason seems to be that they wanted to use OP for a free wedding photographer. I think that's it. You can definitely do a surprise wedding. I have personally photographed that. It was supposed to be an engagement party, but turns out they already eloped, and so it was kind of like a wedding reception at that point, but nobody knew. I was paid. And they weren't trying to trick anybody into photographing it for free. So if you wanted to do a surprise wedding, you definitely can. Like, that's definitely an option. It sounds like they just wanted a free wedding photographer, and I hope that you make a full recovery and everything, that they figure all of that out. And I am sorry that that happened. Like, I'm so sorry that you had to go to the emergency room. But I'm also glad that you didn't photograph this wedding for them. And I hope you made a full recovery and everything is fine and dandy, but you are definitely not the a-hole. Okay, the last story that we're gonna read today is, am I the a-hole for giving my wedding photographer a bad review? I am very curious to read this story, so let's get into it. I got married 2 months ago. It was a moderate affair, open bar, nice dress, no kids, at a slightly more upscale place than I would have liked, but I guess you only live once. We hired a photographer through a company, a mid-sized place that assigned you an employee. We met with her a few times to go over expectations, venues. No red flags, nothing weird. Day of the wedding, she shows up in a sheer white blouse with lace, completely see-through with no bra. I noticed, my husband noticed, everyone noticed, and I, and most of my guests, just spent the evening trying to look away. All through the reception, I could hear people talking about it or joking about it. My husband and I had a good laugh about it after everything was done, and just sort of, WTF was that? Did that really happen? I guess every wedding needs a weird story. At least mine didn't involve a guest. What a great attitude about it, because I would be like, girl, why are you not wearing a bra? And you have a completely sheer shirt? A couple of weeks ago, we got the photo package and it was good and in line with what we paid for. 2 days later, I get one of those automatic emails for a survey asking how they did. Overall, I rated them well and even rated the photographer well, except for the professional category. I gave a 3 out of 5. And in the box filled in that I felt her clothing could be more professional. A manager called me for more clarity. I explained the outfit and said it wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't really situationally appropriate. Manager didn't say much but sounded serious and thanked me for informing them. End of story, right? Well, nope. On the weekend, photographer girl shows up drunk on my lawn wearing 3 bras and starts screaming at my house. Long story short, she was let go from her job and felt I was the a-hole to blame. Eventually, we had to call the police and have her removed. People I know are torn. Some think it was funny and I should have let it go. Others think it deserved to be called out. Am I the a-hole? I can't believe this is a real story. I have actually touched on this topic on my channel before, working for a photographer and videographer group. So if you're not familiar with how these groups operate, basically it's a company, you book with the company and they assign you to, I want to say a random person, but they assign you to one of their photographers. And so when you book with them, you don't know who your photographer actually is going to be until it's assigned to them. And then, yes, you have calls with them if you really don't, I guess, want to work with them because you're getting bad vibes on those calls. You can always switch, I guess. I'm not sure. But yes, it's a thing. You book with the company and then it's just assigned to one of their photographers. And so this is why I definitely recommend booking directly with a photographer, because then you know who you're getting at the end of the day. Anyway, so that's one thing. Yes, this is a real thing. There didn't seem to be any red flags, going into the wedding day, but to show up to a wedding in a lace, completely see-through shirt is one thing. Even if she was wearing a bra with it, you probably could have seen it, right? To see a bra through a sheer shirt on wedding day is one thing, but then she was not wearing a bra. I mean, how can you photograph a wedding all day not wearing a bra? Number one. But yeah, it's not professional. It's not professional to show up indecently like that. You know, whether it was intentional or not, what you wear represents your brand. And at that point, this photographer was representing this company. And so, yeah, I don't think if I hired a photographer like an associate shooter and they go without a bra and a sheer shirt, that's not a good representation on me. So yeah, I would be upset as well. So I think she was definitely in the wrong for not coming dressed professionally. And this is why, okay, this is why we wear black jumpsuits. This is why, like, every photographer I feel like has a black jumpsuit. You know, you don't wear leggings and like a sports bra crop top to a wedding, even if you're the photographer. Just like you wouldn't wear something that's see-through without a bra. You know, you're working. You wouldn't go to your workplace like that. So definitely in the wrong. I think you are perfectly in the right to mention that to the manager, okay? I think you were perfectly in the right because honestly, you had a great attitude the day of your wedding. You're kind of like, yeah, everyone tried not to look, and you kind of laughed about it. Like, that's such a great attitude. You guys had a really good attitude, and the fact that you rated everything else really well, it was just like, hey, yeah, she shouldn't be doing that. If she was let go from her job because of this, I don't think, if I had to assume, if I had to guess, that it was because of your one review. Maybe they've had issues with her in the past, so I don't think you are in the wrong for writing the review or just letting them know, because it was inappropriate and it was not professional. And I don't think, clearly, they want their company and brand to be represented in this way. But what I can't get over is that she shows up drunk on your lawn wearing 3 bras and she's mad about it and she had to be taken away. Like, clearly this woman is not very professional. Her response to that completely tanked her. Like, clearly she does not care about being professional, and she might be a wonderful photographer, and that would probably be the saddest part because it sounds like you really enjoyed your photos. So she may be a really, really great, wonderful photographer, but girl, she needs to be more professional, and her reaction to that, I would never hire her again, no matter how great my photos were. Hopefully you have a good attitude. It seems like you do. It seems like you'll laugh it off, but I would be kind of upset that every time I look at my wedding photos, I think of this girl on my lawn wearing 3 bras. Okay, let's read some comments. You gave her a fair and honest review. It sounds like this wasn't the only time that employee had shown up for events inappropriately dressed. A photographer should blend into the background and not be noticeable, not be the thing that stands out on your wedding day. She got herself fired. You did nothing wrong. I agree. It sounds like this might have been an issue previously, and maybe they weren't warned her about this and she just didn't change. So I don't think it's on you. Not the a-hole, and you didn't leave a bad review. Wait, one data point you marked low, the rest you didn't. You were honest, and she was unprofessional for a wedding. A response to that comment, and not even that low. Wearing that to any job except for maybe a Hooters hostess job is beyond unprofessional. She should have gotten a 0 for that question. I think you were very kind, and I do not think that mentioning it to the manager got her fired at all. Oh my gosh, one comment. It is completely justified to get fired for showing nipples at a wedding. I think that's the perfect comment. Okay, you are not the a-hole. She was unprofessional. Clearly, that's going to be the comment to close this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!